Especially they were taking aim at the kosher slaughtering of animals, claiming that the animals suffer too much, and they tried to stop it. It was becoming very ugly. This before the war was becoming very ugly and very dangerous already, because they were trying to every which way to stop people from buying from Jews. There were these goons that picketed the stores. They kept the Gentiles from entering the stores, and so the approach came 1939, and all the tensions that were in the world, and they were over. Everything was reflected in the life of the town too. You could feel this danger, and the Poles, instead of realizing that we are facing a common enemy, only some of them are hoping that if Hitler ever comes, he'll get rid of the Jews for them, and then they'll go living happily ever after. Well, when the time came, they found out different, but meanwhile, some of them believed that. And so came this summer of 1939. The tension was very great in the world. We knew that the war was practically inevitable. It wasn't a question ever of if, but when. And so this brings us back to that September 1st, 1939, when this whole thing happened, and then the next consequences of all this, and it was becoming very ugly at that time. So, so September 1st, 1939, and it was a beautiful sunny morning when I and my father came out to look at what's happening outside. And the moment we saw what was going on, we knew that World War II started. And I was thinking to myself that the future looks very bleak. The Germans were going to win this. That there was no question about it by us, because we knew that Poland couldn't stand up to the German war machine. So it was a question of what are they going to do to us. Now we knew what Hitler promised to do to us, and we were not in any doubt that he will attempt to do it. And so as the day developed, the Polish authorities ordered the town evacuated. The town was pretty close to the border, and they wanted most of the population out of there, so supposedly the army should have free hand to operate. And so we all got a little extra clothing, whatever money was handy, and whatever food we had, and hit the road. Most of the town, everybody went, and we didn't know where we were going, we didn't know how long we would be gone. Just go north, get away from the border. And so we were going, and the road was clogged with refugees. They evacuated all these towns along the southern border. Every road was full of refugees, and army was going the other way. It was a big chaos. It was so crazy. And here already started hearing artillery behind us, and German planes started flying overhead. And as we were walking, we came to the same day. We walked the rest of the day, and we came to another town, a small town, and somehow the farmer let us into his barn there, and there we met several of the townspeople and also our relatives, the Weisses. And they were talking, and that was the first time I see my father break out in tears. He and my mother worked so hard. They were just about to reap the benefits of all that slavery when this thing came and destroyed their future. And so next morning we can continue, and we were going and we were walking, and the roads were all clogged, and those German planes started strafing us on the road. It was a slaughter there, and as we were going, we just we wondered where to go, where we gonna wind up. I mean, the Germans were not to be stopped so easily, and so my father decided that let's go into the direction of the area where he was born, and there was the village where he was apprenticed to these people, he learned to be a baker. He says if they are still there, then maybe we can find some shelter with them. And there we were going one day, we were on a rather lengthy bridge. We were in the middle of the bridge when the German planes swooped down and started shooting. And the Poles were whooping it up. These are ours, they say, these are ours. But they weren't ours, they were theirs, and they were giving us hell. They were killing us. How we survived this, I don't know. Every time the planes appeared, one has to get off the road and try to find some shelter under some trees, or there were corns or fields of corn. Corn grew very tall, about 5-6 feet, so we could just walk into that field and not to be seen from the air. It was a horrible time, and it was the uncertainty of where we are going, what are we gonna do, where are we gonna wind up. Eventually we wound up in that village there, and the name of the village was Kamin, and the people that my father knew were still there. They accepted us with open arms, and they asked us to stay over the holidays because we arrived there was day before Rosh Hashanah. And the lady was very wise. She said to my father, says, look, obviously Poland is finished. Obviously they are not going to stop the Germans. The Germans will take over all of Poland. So why don't you stay here over the holidays, stay a few days, and then start going back home. And my father accepted that advice, and that's what we did. We stayed for the holidays with him. And right after the holidays, when the German army they marched through, and it was like a giant military parade. It was an awesome army. And once the front moved, we started going back. And of course the road, the time back, it was a little faster already because we have gotten some transportation already. Things were easing up, and we arrived back to our town, to Novi Targ, and it was Friday, the day before Yom Kippur. And the town it was the same town and it wasn't the same town. There was something foreboding about that town. It was of course under German occupation already. The Germans were in that town the first day of the war on September 1st, 3 p.m. They were already there. And there were battles there, and some of parts of the town were burned. And so it seems like a strange place already. And my mother and my father were very anxious to see what was left of their possession, if anything. So we went to the bakery, and the bakery was there, but anything that wasn't nailed down was stolen, was taken away, looted. We went to the apartment, the same thing. Most of the stuff was looted. My parents were standing there, my mother was crying, my father had tears in his eyes. All their work, all their sacrifice, all their suffering for all these years was, was all for nothing. It was all gone, and the, everything, everything they tried to accomplish lie in tatters around their feet. And what the future was going to be like was far from certain. And that was the way, the time we came to the back from that evacuation, and it was a horrible experience. And we were, of course, there was no question of going to the synagogue on Yom Kippur. Any assembly of more than 3 people was already absolutely forbidden, and there were a lot of other decrees already passed, and most of them against the Jews, a lot of them against the general population. Every little thing was punishable by death, and so this was the way it started. The World War started for us, and that was nothing compared to what was to come.
This is the calendar of 1939, the month of September. The red squares, beginning with the first on Friday, indicate the days we were running away from home till the 12th. The 4 yellow squares indicate the time we spent in coming, waiting out till we could get back home. And at the beginning of 16, we started to track back home and arrived there on the 21st. Poland between 1918 and 1939, between the 2 world wars. Two historic buildings from Novi Tako, 14th century church and the 18th century city hall. The public school I attended the high school I did not attend. And the movie house I attended very occasionally. Every Thursday was market day, and peasants used to bring their stock to be sold. And it was in the main square in front of City Hall. And that was the town, more or less, as it was then. maybe sideways, something maybe come